Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Buffalo Sports Center video. I am Don, and today we are going to talk about some potential NFL trade deadline targets for the Buffalo Bills. Now, they were rumored to be in on a couple of running backs, most notably Christian McCaffrey, but he has already been shipped off to the San Francisco 49ers in the first major trade before the deadline, which is less than 2 weeks away from now. Surprisingly enough, it doesn't feel like that, but it actually is. But I expect the Bills to continue their pursuit of another running back because right now the running game is not cutting it for the Bills. Devin Singletary's been fine, but we haven't seen a lot of James Cook, and Zach Moss is once again having a very, very disappointing year, and this could be it for him in Buffalo. So with all that uncertainty and a lot of the brunt already on Josh Allen's shoulders, the Bills may look to bring in another pass-catching playmaker that can make an impact right now. And I have a couple of options that I'm about to flash on the screen here, but make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Now, the first player that I think the Bills could go after is not Christian McCaffrey because he's already been traded, and I didn't even think when he was available that the Bills should go after him. Instead, the Bills should have gone after and could still go after a guy like Cam Akers, running back from the Los Angeles Rams. Yes, his stats have not been good this year as he is the second running back on the depth chart for the Rams. He's only played in 5 games. He's got 51 rushing attempts for just 151 yards. That's about an average of 3 yards per carry, which is not good. It's not good, but let's take this into perspective. The Rams' offensive line has been one of the worst in the NFL so far this season. Matt Stafford's been throwing picks. He's been sacked a lot, and the running backs have not been getting those holes and gaps that they have been looking for. Now, Cam Akers has also not been used very much. As I mentioned, he only has 51 rushing attempts, which is less than even Devin Singletary. And Singletary, I feel like, hasn't gotten the ball all that much either this season. Akers has been frustrated with his role in the Rams offense. Sean McVay even sat him out of the game last week versus the Carolina Panthers due to personal reasons, which we later found out was because he is looking for a trade, and so are the Rams. The Rams are looking for a trade. The Bills are looking for a running back. It seems like a match made in heaven. Only problem is that Akers has come off an ACL injury in 2021. This year in 2022, where everyone thought he would rebound, he hasn't. So his trade value is very diminished. His potential is also diminished as well. But the Bills have excelled at buying low on certain players like Jordan Phillips and selling them high. And why not do the same thing with Cam Akers? Cam Akers is right at the bottom. Put him into a situation like Buffalo where we have a great offense, great quarterback, a decent line, and a good playmaking group of guys, then he will thrive. As will a couple of other guys on this list, including offensive guard, right guard, A.J. Cann of the Houston Texans. And the Texans' offensive line, while it has not been good, it hasn't been totally bad either, and A.J. Cann would be a fine fit on the Bills' offensive line. Now, my targets here in today's video all centers around the run game and creating gaps on the offensive line, and A.J. Cann excels at both of those things. Now, starting right guard, Ryan Bates has been off to a very rocky start to the season. The Bills did extend him this offseason after he had an offer sheet from the Chicago Bears, and Bates has not performed all that well. He's really struggled without Ike Bedker, who is currently injured. Bedker and Ryan Bates seem to be really interlocked with each other. They were very good as a offensive line duo over there on the right-hand side, but without Bedker, Bates has really struggled, and the Bills' running game has also struggled in effect. I think the Bills could certainly benefit from a potential upgrade, but I don't think this is as likely as being trading for a running back. But offensive line, if you have a good offensive line, you have a good group of running backs, and the Bills right now have a subpar line in terms of run blocking abilities. Therefore, they have subpar running attacks, and I think that if you were to upgrade that, you could upgrade the running game without even having to change anything on an expensive RB in the backfield. So that's where A.J. Cann falls into it. And my final target here that I will mention in today's video is actually not a running back or an offensive guard. It is wide receiver Chase Claypool. And not only is he very physical off the line of scrimmage and is a good blocking wide receiver, he's also a sort of a unicorn. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have really misused him this season. I don't know what offensive coordinator Matt Canada is doing over there in Pittsburgh, but he's doing something really wrong with Claypool, who last season had 860 reception yards. He was very good for the Steelers despite Big Ben struggling mightily, and I think he would really excel here in Buffalo too. And he would certainly get a lot of snaps because of Jamison Crowder being out and Isaiah McKenzie really struggling. And the Bills don't seem to be really totally bought in on Khalil Shakir for some reason, even though every time Josh Allen throws in the ball, Shakir comes up with it. I think that Chase Claypool would be a superb addition to the wide receiver group, and it would be an embarrassment of riches, really, for Buffalo. If they're able to bring in Claypool, who is having a really rough start to the season, I think he only has 6 catches in 6 games, which is, it's really pathetic. It's pathetic once you look at it. He should not be getting that low of numbers. If you put him into a really good offense like Buffalo, he will thrive, just like Cam Akers. Put an underperforming guy here in Buffalo, they will absolutely thrive. Chase Claypool is no exception, and he's actually pretty affordable. I didn't mention this earlier, but the Bills only have about $3 million in cap space heading into the trade deadline, so they have a little bit of room, but not too much. Now, Claypool not only makes below that number, he only makes $1.2 million a season, so he wouldn't even count that much against the cap. He would be much cheaper than an often cited other alternative to him, which is Odell Beckham Jr. And I get it, OBJ is much better than Chase Claypool, but not only is Chase Claypool cheaper, I think he would bring a lot of venom to this offense too. He's got a character. He's very vocal with his beliefs. He's extremely passionate about the game. I think that adding a little bit of flair to this Bills offense would be fantastic for them. I think it would be great. OBJ, he brings also that kind of flair, but I think he wouldn't be as cheap, and he may bring a little bit more circus than Claypool would. So, anyways, that was my group of guys who I think the Bills could bring in this trade deadline. Thank you guys so much for watching. I was Don. This was Buffalo Sports Center. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.